Happy Friday, everybody. Good to see you. Man, I missed you guys the last couple of weeks. Glad to be back. It's been a crazy time around here. First, my dad had a health scare and was in the hospital, but he's doing awesome now, so got over that. Had some crazy project at work that just was taking all my nights and weekends, and that's done, and now I'm on vacation. But I'm not at Disney World. Went to see my mother-in-law. But that's all right. We're up in the great state of Minnesota, and it's nice and cool here compared to Texas, although it's supposed to get a little warm today, and everybody's losing their mind. Thinking about this episode and what I wanted to talk about, I decided to go back to photography. Now, photography was kind of my first love when it comes to the visual creative world, and I did that for a lot of years before I really got into video and some of the other stuff I like to do, but I wanted to go back to that. I love taking pictures. I really love taking pictures at Disney World. One of the things that I enjoy a lot is HDR photography. Now, when I went on my trip back in 2014, I had just gotten started with it, so I didn't do a lot of it there, but I did take a few, and I'm going to show you how that works. HDR stands for high dynamic range, and it's basically taking multiple photos of different exposures and putting them together to create one. If you ever want to really spend an awesome day just browsing the web, do a Google search for Walt Disney World HDR photos and just see what pops up. Now, to do HDR photography, you do need a couple of things, and one is the ability to do bracketed exposure. Most DSLR cameras are going to have this, and a lot of point and shoots have them nowadays. Now, bracketed exposure means you press the button one time and your camera takes multiple pictures. One of proper exposure and then some underexposed and overexposed. And it happens very quickly. That's important because you don't want anything really to change in the frame between photos or they won't line up correctly. Another thing you're going to need is something to hold your camera steady. Tripods work the best, monopods will also work. If you can't find that, a trash can or a rail, something to prop up on is going to really make this successful. Even a small shift between photos can cause problems. And you're also going to want to look for something where there aren't a bunch of people walking around or things moving in the frame. It's very important that your frames be as identical as possible when doing HDR. So let's head inside, we'll pull up the computer, I'll show you how all this works. So I'm going to be using a program that's called Luminance HDR. This is a free piece of software. There's a lot of different HDR programs out there, but this is the one I use. First thing I'm going to need to do is go grab my pictures. So I'm going to pull in 3 pictures of the Wilderness Lodge boat dock here. Once they're in there, the most important box on this whole screen is this one. You want to make sure you check for the software to auto-align the images. That's going to make sure they're all lined up with one another. If you don't check that box, you can get some really weird ghosting. Once you start it, it's going to take a while. It's going to go through its thing. It's going to find points to line them up, and then it's going to process the actual HDR. Once it's done, you're going to see this screen. Just go ahead and click on Finish, and then that's going to bring you into the software itself. And here's our base. The very first thing you're going to want to do is change the screen or the picture resolution. I'm going to pick one a little bit bigger here, and then down at the bottom, going to click on this button right here, Tone Map. Every time you change something inside of Luminance HDR, you have to click Tone Map in order to see the results of it. Over on the right, you've got different types of HDR. Each one of these is basically just a different formula for creating the HDR image. Each one's got different options in it. I'm going to stick with the top one. I just happen to like this one. And I'm going to need to make a couple of adjustments. I'm going to set my contrast factor to 0.15. And my detail factor to 1.5. And then saturation, I'm going to bump that all the way up because this is really washed out. And then hit Tone Map again. It's going to go through and it's going to run everything we just changed. Okay, so this is looking a little bit better. Now, I could stop here, but I actually want to do a little bit more. So I'm going to save this out and then do some more touch-ups in another program. So save as type, hit the drop down. I'm going to select PNG since I'm going to be editing some more. I don't want to do JPEG. It compresses everything. So I'm going to go ahead and save. Now I've opened it up in Photoshop. You can also use GIMP, which is a free program, does the same type of things. Going to go to my levels, which is Control L, I believe on both programs. Grab this button on the left. This is going to adjust my blacks and bring them a little bit darker. So I'm going to slide it up, darken those up a little. I'm going to adjust my midpoint down towards the blacks just a little bit. Adjust this out. And then I'm going to adjust the whites as well. Brighten those up just a little bit. Click OK, and we'll move on to the next thing. Still need some more color. I'm going to go over to my adjustments and then vibrance. So vibrance and saturation do similar things. The main difference is vibrance doesn't affect skin tones. It will boost the saturation more in the blues and darker reds. I'm also going to bring the saturation up just a little bit here. I don't want to go too much, but I do want to give this a little pop of color. And this is kind of all subjective. It's kind of what you like. If you're happy with it, I'm going to hit OK. And I want to do one more thing in here. I'm going to warm this up just a little bit. So I'm going to apply a photo filter. And bump that up to 40%. Now I'm going to go with a different filter. It kind of defaults to warming filter 85. I'm going to switch that to warming filter 81. The difference is if you look in the sky, let me switch it back. In the sky you see kind of purplish on the 85, whereas on the 81 it's just a little bit less of that purple factor. I hit OK. And there we go. There's our final image. So you can tell a huge difference in this. Let me go ahead and pull up the original images and we can just kind of compare and see. So here are my 3 images that were taken in camera, and then the composite image of all 3 put together. So there you go, that's how you do HDR. Pretty simple little process, and you can really get some amazing pictures with it. So there you have it. Really simple process, makes a very dramatic result. Love making those things. Well, I really appreciate you guys joining me. You know, I'm thinking I should really start saying happy Saturday, y'all, since I keep posting these things after midnight. I'm going to think on that. Till next time, you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it for giving me that time off. I know it's not cool to bug out on you guys, but hopefully I won't have to do that again anytime soon. You guys have a great weekend. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, have a wonderful Independence Day. Take care, y'all.